Welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. It chooses the horror movie and they discuss it. Today we're talking about 2019's Brightburn, which was directed by David Yarovesky. I'm your co-host, Alec.
I'm Eric, and with us for the first time is Ryan Budde. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Ryan Budde.
Ryan Budde.
So yeah, just so our listeners, Ryan Budde is a friend of ours from high school. A couple years younger than us, Ryan, but we always loved you. You know, you're in theater with us. We put you in our little Erik and Alec show sketches. And now here we are, 10 years later, Ryan Budde.
Appreciate it, man. 10 years later, and happy to discuss movies with you, man.
Yeah, dude. No, it's cool because, yeah, Ryan used to live in Connecticut, just moved out to LA, about a year ago now?
Yeah, a little over a year ago in April of 21.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's good. Yeah, we chill a lot now, so it's good to have another Connecticut guy out there in LA with me. One day Eric will join us.
One day, maybe.
Probably not.
So we actually, it was funny because I was talking to you, Ryan, just about like what your favorite kind of movies are, and you are like the biggest superhero fan of all time, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm such an MCU stan. Like, I deep dive into all of the Marvel movies, everything that comes out, all the TV shows, all that stuff. And yeah, I love talking about it.
All right, so honest thoughts on Ghost Rider.
It's not in my top 5 Nicolas Cage. I will say that.
All right. So the reason, so basically I was like, dude, you want to be on the podcast? You're like, I don't really love horror movies, but I love superhero movies. And then you told me about this one. So we were like, let's scrap some other shit movie we had on this wheel, put this movie on there. And now here we are. So we're talking about the first superhero horror film that I've ever really seen. Eric, had you ever heard of this movie or seen it?
I haven't even heard of it. Yeah. And what a good variety piece to add to this wheel, because I don't know if it's really horror, but the idea of it is really scary, where like a Superman is like not good. And it's like it's a horror aspect of it, but also the gore in it, top notch.
Yeah, the gore was brutal. But I guess before we get into the movie, Ryan, how did you hear about this?
Oh, I originally saw this one with my dad over in AMC in Plainville. And him and I were in a routine where we just would regularly go out to the movies on the weekend. And Brightburn just came up on the schedule. I'm a big James Gunn fan. He did all the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. And I know his brothers wrote this. And I'm pretty sure he was a main producer in its production. I was a big fan. Like Eric said, it brought a lot of variety, and it brought like a horror aspect to a superhero movie that I hadn't really seen before. And I appreciated it a lot.
Oh my God. You haven't seen Green Lantern then.
That's shitty, isn't it?
Oh man, that's scary as all hell. No, it's just horrible. It's horrible. Didn't you just hear at your job someone say something like that too? Like, Alec?
I don't remember what it was. They're watching some animated Green Lantern shit. And I just heard the guy audibly say out loud, he's like, "Fuck the Green Lantern." That was because I have to watch it for my job. We have to like make sure it's working. And I just heard some guy by himself in a room. He said it so loud. He was just like, "Man, fuck the Green Lantern." I was like, all right. He's so mad. But yeah, this was interesting. I agree. I don't think it was really scary, but I was surprised by the cast. I had no idea who was in this, and I really like Elizabeth Banks in horror films, and I also really like the guy, I don't know his name, it's Roy from The Office, but he really surprised me with how good his acting was in this.
Yeah, absolutely. The scene with him being the dad in the forest, and like his dream sequence was a little weird for me, but him having to like make the decision, and those scenes between him and Elizabeth Banks where he's like, "No, our son is actually killing people," and you're not realizing it in Act 2 is just it stands out in my opinion.
Yeah, that was the thing. I mean, it's a short movie. It's like an hour and a half long, but I think this movie would have done so much better as a miniseries, just because like they're cramming so much plot into such a short amount of time that like I just felt like it was too abrupt. Like everything happened so fast that I was like, why is this kid an asshole now? Like he really like, there's nothing in his, it's like, okay, so he's, you know what, really quick, let's just give a brief overview of the film just so people, if they haven't seen it. But it's basically just about this couple that can't have kids. And then mysteriously something crashes in their woods. It happens to be a boy, and they're like, oh, it's an alien boy. So they raise that as their own. And then at age 12, he starts realizing his superpowers. But not only that, he's an asshole. He's a bad guy. And he starts kind of killing everybody kind of for no reason. What did you guys think? I mean, did you think that when he started killing people, it was just like super abrupt?
Well, clearly he's being bullied. I mean, they make it a point, like these other kids call him like maggot and freak and stuff. So there's that, and he likes a girl who is nice to him, but he kind of ruins that. And I think once he ruins that, that's when he snaps.
Kind of ruins it. He breaks her fucking hand.
Crushes her hand.
Right, yeah. Kind of ruins.
You might be able to get her back.
Cripples her hand for life.
I mean, he shot his shot with the flowers.
Kills her mom, and she knows it was him. So it's like, yeah, I don't think he's going on a second date anytime soon.
He's kind of did. It's like he killed her mom and broke her hand. It's like, well,
no, you know what I mean. Before that, he kind of blew it by like sneaking into her room and scaring her.
Right.
When he tried to like surprise her, like, oh, she's gonna appreciate my powers because she says she appreciates my smartness, you know.
Right.
And he blew it then, like doing it with the computer and like showing up. That's when he blew it. Then he really blew it by breaking her hand like the Terminator. That was a bad idea.
It really was like the Terminator.
I love how he thought that just like bringing some wild flowers in through her window would remedy the situation.
Yeah, well, she's the only one who's nice to him, and she was the only one who like appreciated him for who he was and like his smartness. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
And his dad gave him the most awkward sex talk ever, and that's what he took from
That
it.
was the worst sex talk ever.
So he's like, "Oh, so tonight I should go like break into a girl's house?" He's like, "No, that's not what I'm saying."
That beats American Pie for the sex talk. That was horrible.
Can we, just to play devil's advocate, this is a dad who has to give a sex talk after like discovering porno that's full of like human organs with his child that he found in the middle of the woods. Like,
Yeah, it's true.
Ted Bundy shit. Yeah, that was like, oh boy, we gotta have a lot more talks than the talk.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They almost didn't mention that he was an alien until like halfway through the movie. They're just kind of having a normal conversation, and then it was just like, "Oh yeah, we did find him in the woods though. Like maybe that explains why he's all weird now." I don't know.
It's Superman. It's the same story as Superman, and they're good parents. You know, like, it's not like they're bad parents.
No, they're really good parents. That's why it's like it's more confusing why he does this.
Yeah.
Like if they were abusive, I feel like I'd be like, oh yes, this kid's like he's a bad guy, but like it's kind of justified. These are like really good, caring people, and then he just fucking kills them and his aunt and uncle or whatever.
Yeah, but like now you make a good point out. Like imagine he was like grown up and like Joe Dirt was his parents or something. Like,
yeah.
Like, I think of Joe Dirt because like he got a meteorite, but like I'm thinking like straight up trailer trash, like raising Superman. That could be a funny movie.
But dude, that would at least like make this all justifiable. It's like, oh, his parents were dicks to him, and then he, they didn't know he was a superhero or whatever. They don't even know what the hell he is, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I didn't like how quick he turned on everybody, and just I don't know.
I don't know. I think if Superman was here today and he was on Twitter for like 2 hours, he'd be
Yes.
like, "Yeah, this world deserves to just blow up." Like,
yeah, in my opinion, it's like, look at the difference between when Superman originally came out in like the 30s and 40s, and then compare that to if the same situation happened in today's society, and you have some kid growing up in Kansas in like the 21st century versus the 20th. It's bound to come out with some like sociopath like this. Like,
Seriously.
it's so much different. Like, it's so much different. He's growing up with social media. He's growing up with like the world's on fire. Like, it's so much different.
yeah, my favorite part of this movie, Alec, you're gonna love this, is when like the aunt and uncle or whatever, the cousins give him a gun without like talking to his parents. Imagine like I did that to your kid someday. Like, hey, here's a present. And you're like, what'd you get him? It's like, you'll see. And it was a gun. You'd be like, Eric, like you're not giving my kid a gun right now.
He's 12.
So you got to talk to me first before you buy my kid a weapon.
Yeah, that was insane. I got a BB gun when I was 12, and I'll tell a really quick story here. I had a BB gun, and my dad was like, if you ever point this at a person or an animal, I'm taking it away immediately. And I was like, okay. And Bailey took it, and as a joke, pointed it at my balls and was like, Dad, look. and he's pointing the gun at my balls, and my dad runs over and grabs it out of my brother's hand and snaps it in half on his leg in like one foul swoop. And I was just like, what the fuck? I didn't do that. I was like, that was my toy. But I don't think kids should have guns, is the message, I think.
Yeah. That was it like a Red Ryder BB gun? Those things are hard to break.
Dude, I cannot believe my dad was able to break this. It was one quick thing over his knee. It's like,
damn.
Dude, it was so fast. Yeah, it was a real BB gun. Just snapped in half on his leg. I was like, wow, damn. He's like, no more. Not even Nerf anymore. Nothing. It's like, okay.
Thanks a lot, Bailey.
Right.
Ruin that.
Yeah. But yeah, guns for kids, not cool. Not cool.
Yeah.
What did you guys think? I mean, Eric, you mentioned it earlier, the kills. Did you guys have a favorite kill in this movie? Because they were all pretty goddamn graphic.
Probably the most notable is the uncle with like his jaw just like hanging.
Yeah, that was brutal. Also, that guy's from Breaking Bad. That's Badger from Breaking Bad.
I was gonna say, isn't that Otter or Badger?
Otter.
I'm pretty sure he's also in The Office as well with Roy. I'm pretty sure he's one of Dwight's cousins.
You're right.
Oh.
You're right. He is.
Yeah.
But Eric, what about you? Of all the deaths, did you have a favorite one?
I mean, yeah, that was probably the most gory, but I was thinking when Erica mother got glass in her eye, that was like, I was thinking of you. I was like, oh, Alec must love this scene right now.
Dude, I was watching it with my dad, and like he's laughing at me because I was just like, "Is it over?" I'm like looking at the ground, I'm like, "How much more? Is it almost done?" And he's like, "Oh, this is really oh Jesus Christ!" Like,
yeah, ooh, that must have sucked. I mean, all the kills must have sucked except for like the cop who's just like sitting there, and next thing you know, he's just like paint on the wall.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. So I was so mad when they killed that guy because he's the only one that's like kind of knows what's going on, and then they just mutilate him, and then all of a sudden he's replaced by some random woman we don't even know who the hell she is. I was like, whoa, kill her. Kill the deputy that we don't know. Smash her into the wall, make her into guts, but keep the sheriff alive. I thought that if they kept the sheriff at least partially alive, maybe he could have been like a sequel. I don't know.
Oh, well, if you want to talk sequel, like the last, like the post credits where
awesome.
It's like the YouTube videos and you got like the mock Alex Jones like doing conspiracy theories.
Yeah, that was Michael Rooker, who's in a lot of James Gunn movies.
Yeah, that just sets up because he's like setting up Easter eggs for like a witch with ropes who like constricts people. That's a direct relation to like Wonder Woman. And there's other videos of like someone running through the water like Aquaman. It's like setting up a whole dark DC, even more gritty than what they're coming out with right now version of everything. And I really appreciated that.
You know, at the end, there's two things I wanted to note. When that building gets destroyed, apparently that was real footage, and they just added the CGI character into it. But there was some building they destroyed in Canada, and they just got it on camera. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the other thing was, have you ever seen the movie Super? Either of you?
No, I don't think so.
What's it about?
It's like a mockumentary about like vigilantes who like take themselves really seriously, and it was actually a James Gunn movie from like 2010. And I remember seeing it and I was like, this is kind of cool. It's kind of funny. It's about like actual superheroes who like live in New York City and believe they're superheroes, and they dress up and they go out at night and stuff, but like they're just people. It's pretty cool. That character is in this movie. He's in that final shot where you were talking about, Ryan, with the witch and stuff.
Huh. That's not the Nick Offerman movie, is it?
I don't think he's in it.
Who plays Dwight? I'm sorry.
Rainn Wilson. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. It's that movie.
Okay, cool. It kind of has a similar vibe to Kick-Ass.
Yeah, but it's almost more like real because it's like they're not. It's like a mockumentary, kind of, if I remember correctly. I saw it so long ago. But yeah, it was kind of cool. Same characters, and I was just like, hey, look at that, James Gunn. Look at you.
Is there a part you didn't like, guys?
Yeah.
Alec?
I just thought, I think the only really redeeming thing about this is cool idea, not executed that great, and I thought the acting was pretty good. I thought the special effects were horrible. I thought it was like way too abrupt with like these character decisions. Like, I'll tell you, watching this movie kind of reminded me of The Omen a little bit, but I was like, even the son of the devil still has a little bit more inner conflict before he's like, yeah, fuck my mom. Fuck everybody. So I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like absolutely crazy about it. No offense, Ryan.
No worries, man. I think it's a really unique concept, and it's written by James Gunn's brothers. So it seems like a passion project that they brought to the table. And if watching it, I mirror a lot of your opinions where like, it's a great idea. Elizabeth Banks is absolutely killing it, but the special effects and the budget just isn't there, and it's just not long enough. Where like I wish it was maybe 20 to 30 minutes longer with a bigger budget so that they can go more into the character development that you're speaking to.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ryan. I just asked Alec what his like least favorite part was, and he just totally trashed this movie. Okay.
No, I didn't. I'm not trashing it. I'll go back to what I said in the beginning. I think this would have been really good if it was like maybe like a mini series on Netflix.
Yeah. I actually really agree with that. Like if you broke this up and like it's not 87 condensed minutes and you spread it out and you have stages of what's his name, Brandon's development over, like you actually see and can visibly see like conflict that develops his inner person to become this monster that he turns out to be, I think it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it really had. Like, I want to know how he got his mask. Why did he decide to choose that mask? And there's so much stuff that just kind of gets brushed over.
Well, with them mirroring Superman in particular, Superman's cape is made from the blanket that his parents like took him out of the spaceship, and he was wrapped in this blanket, and his mother sewed it into like his official costume. So the mask that he made is the same idea. It's the blanket that they found him in a dream sequence. You saw that. And he took it upon himself rather than his motherly figure doing it to create this mask of his identity for the violent shit he's about to get into.
Dude needs to take a sewing class, though.
Ryan, are you familiar with The Sandman?
I read the prequel Chronicles graphic novel. I haven't gone like full dive into the full series, but it's definitely on my list.
Okay, that's one of the few. Actually, I've read a ton of graphic novels, but that's one of the few DC graphic novels I've read. And his mask reminds me of Sandman's mask in the first few comics because he gets rid of it, but it reminds me a lot. I was like, oh, and that's why I thought this might have been a DC movie. So, but it's not.
Yeah,
I like this movie in general, and I totally agree with you guys. The miniseries would have made it much better, and I probably would have watched every episode because I would have been hooked by the time he like gets his superpowers. I'm like, I kind of want to see what happens with the lawnmower and stuff. But a part that I didn't like, and this like made me roll my eyes because I hate when directors or writers don't trust their audience to figure stuff out for themselves. We saw him get cut by the ship. Obviously, it's the only thing that's ever hurt him, which is like, you never seen your kid bleed ever. Okay. At the doctor's office when he needs to finger prick him. I mean, nothing. But the ship scene, and that happens, and then Elizabeth Banks has that moment where she cuts her hand and thinks, oh, the ship, right. It's like, I wish he just did that and the audience like would pick that up. Oh, wait, yeah, the ship. Like, I hate when they do that stuff.
Yeah, I also thought the ship was pretty stupid because it's like, it just looks like a regular piece of metal. Like, at least with Krypton or Kryptonite or whatever it is, it's like a glowing green thing.
She ripped off a piece with her hand. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Like, this thing went through the atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. I mirror it. That's a whole, like, I don't think this Midwestern Kansas mom would be able to just like rip off alien metal from this spacecraft.
Right, and like just make it look more like, I don't know, it looks like every other metal ever on Earth. It doesn't look like special at all. So you're like, I don't know. That was a little.
Well, I actually thought when they did that, I was like, I bet they're gonna like find a way to the sheriff or something turn the ship into a bullet and like use like a kind of like a werewolf. I thought they would find a way to do that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But and then that scene too, where he shoots him like Lenny and Mice and Men, pretty much, and
He old yellers his son.
right, pretty much like, hey, go over there, like look at the tracks, and then just like. But he told the wife, he's like, I'm gonna make sure I tell him I love him and stuff. He didn't do any of that. He just straight up like, yeah, tracks, and he just pulled the gun out, like.
Yeah. That was like the scene in The Omen, kind of, where, Gregory Peck finds the 666 on Damien's head, kind of. He's like, what do I do?
Well, he had a moment of hesitation. I guess he did too. I guess the dad did too for a second, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, there just wasn't enough there to justify a lot of these character actions just because of just time restrictions. But you'd think that with James Gunn, producing it, like they would have had a better budget. But I did notice there was like 17 production logos before the movie started. So I was like, they must have needed a lot of random financing from a lot of random people.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it though. I
Yeah.
did really enjoy it.
Yeah, to your point, Alec, it just seems like James like kind of did this for like something his brothers wrote, and he went out and found money to make it happen. But I love it. It's great. You know, it's a horror superhuman film. It's great.
Yeah. Well, I have a question for you guys, and I'll edit this out if you don't want to answer it, but I'll ask it. And if you do, great. If not, whatever. I thought it'd be kind of funny to see if you guys had the talk and how that went for you guys.
Oh no, I'll tell. Do you want me to go first?
I can go first, or you. I thought it'd be funny. What's all of our different versions of the talk?
I was very well advanced for my age, and I never had the talk.
What does that mean?
What is it? Yeah.
I just got on the computer and looked up weird shit, and I was definitely the one in like third grade or second grade, like, you know how you just like you stick your wiener in and you pee in her. Like literally that was me. Like I was
that was
asshole.
you. I know that was you. You used to tell me that brown stuff comes out of your wiener when you have sex.
Oh yeah. I was like, my dad and my mom,
Brown?
he'll figure it out. Like he'll figure it out. We don't need to like give him a magazine or anything. I was fine. I was on my own.
All right, so non-existent then.
Yep.
Ryan?
Yeah, my talk pretty much consisted of like at the time my dad and I had a tradition of like doing McDonald's breakfast on Friday AMs, and yeah, it was talking over some McGriddles, you know.
I mean, hey, that's not a bad way to do it.
I would pay anything to see this conversation with McGriddle.
He like takes the toys out of the Happy Meal and he like acts it out with like Ronald and the Hamburglar.
No. Finish your bite. Finish your bite. Like,
As he's taking off the lid to his syrup for his flapjacks.
like slowly like crumpling up the wrapper in your hand, like awkwardly. Like, oh, this is really uncomfortable.
Are you gonna finish your hash browns, son? Like, yeah.
Was this at the Avon McDonald's?
No, this one was like in Unionville, like before they did the remodeling, that old McDonald's.
Yeah, that was a good one. The remodel's amazing too. Just not knocking that.
It's not like the manager's listening. He's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. You guys ever get that brown stuff though? You know what I mean?
What are you talking about?
I'm joking.
Jesus.
That joke out. Like, you know, the brown stuff.
That's no. I actually talked about that on my vacation with my parents.
Oh God, you still bring that up. Ugh.
It's funny. So mine was actually pretty similar to yours, Eric. My dad and I had moved into a new house, and we'd finally finished unpacking, and I went up to my bedroom, and there was just a penthouse on my bed, and that was it. There was never any talk. It was just on my bed, and I was like, it was from 1998, and I was just like, okay, it's like I guess I'll just figure this out for myself.
Wait, where did that come from? Like, I'm
My dad.
assuming that has mileage on it. Like,
right.
Do you still have it? I bet you do somewhere.
I do. I don't. Maybe.
It's a relic.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason have this weird. I collect Playboys from the 60s, and that's really weird because I'm like, how much DNA is on these? But yeah, I don't know why. But that's my dad was just like, hey, I'll leave this on the bed. He's got it from here. And
Wow. This one has 5 pages stuck together.
Oh.
That's amazing.
Oh
Look at this.
Yeah, so you know. But anyways, okay, so we all had, I guess, pretty horrible experiences. Yours is pretty good, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, my talk, if I had one, was like, just don't knock anyone up. Like, that was pretty much the gist. Like, don't be an idiot. Don't ruin your life. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen what you've seen on the internet. So, you know, like, oh, you can figure that out. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like your dad's like, I work in IT. It's pretty.
Yeah. No. We had something called like Cyber Patrol where he could literally record the screen when I was on it, and I didn't know that. And then one day he's like, "Yeah, you're watching a lot of cool stuff." I'm like, "Oh no."
A lot of cool stuff. Yeah. Well, I actually saw a pretty funny YouTube comment about this movie. I don't know. I know obviously you'll get this, Eric, but Ryan, did you watch Dragon Ball Z?
Oh yeah.
Okay. This guy was basically just like, this is literally what Goku is supposed to do. It's like he was sent to Earth to destroy it, and then ends up like falling in love with people and doesn't do it. And they send Vegeta to like, you know, kick his ass in gear. So I don't know. I wonder if that was like inspired by that. I mean, it's clearly inspired by Superman, but
Yeah. Was Goku like sent on a mission, or was it
Yeah.
like an evacuation of the planet like Superman was?
I think it was more of a mission, and he was
yeah,
supposed to turn into an ape and destroy the world, right?
right. I think what Saiyans they do is they send their children to planets, and they're stronger than adults on the planet, so they can literally do what this guy did. They just destroy all life on the planet, so then the Saiyans can come in and take it over.
But Goku had good parents too, right? He had Master Roshi, right?
No, he had his grandpa Gohan.
Grandpa Gohan, that was
Yeah,
right.
so
Yeah.
he had people that cared about him, loved him, and he didn't have this like I don't even know what triggered him. It was like some Evil Dead weird talking in this movie that just turned him into this assassin. Basically, Goku didn't have that, but that's what Goku was supposed to do: come and
No,
destroy the planet.
Goku had the moon. Okay.
That's true. That's true.
Now I really want to see a version of the Superman story, but like he ends up in like a trailer trash home with terrible parents, and it's like imagine Kyle like punching drywall holes in the wall, and all of a sudden he hits puberty and he's like, all right, I guess it's my turn now, and like it's really bad.
Have you guys been watching or have watched The Boys at all on Amazon?
No, Justin loves it. I've never. I'm not a big superhero guy.
It's so good. So it's like it's an Amazon show about superheroes living in a corporate America, and there's a company with like a CEO, board of directors who are managing these superheroes and their marketing deals, the deals with like individual cities managing their protection, and there's so much money invested in it. And at the top of it is a hero called Homelander, and he's pretty much a lot like this character, very fucked up mentally, and pretty much has all the same powers as Superman. So he just like slices people in half with his heat vision, like regularly. It's such a good show. If you haven't started it, highly recommend it. The third season is like coming out episode by episode right now.
Well, I love Watchmen. I love Watchmen. A lot of people say Boys is kind of like that, but like more comedic. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I would say if you like had Watchmen under like people like essentially muggles in this world, like running the corporation that control these superheroes, if you added that element to it, it would be very similar.
Yeah, Eric. I mean, you're a huge Marvel guy, Eric. You love it too, right? I mean, not like Justin or Ryan, but you're into it.
Oh yeah, I'm way more Marvel than DC, and I have seen the first 2 episodes of The Boys. I watched it with my friend Dan, and I never got hooked. But I'm hearing all the good things. I heard something about Ant-Man and a penis. Kind of want to check that out. I don't know.
Ant-Man and a penis.
That's what I'm hearing about.
All right. Before we wrap up here, do you guys got any last minute thoughts on the Brightburn?
Yeah, I'll go first. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate you bringing this one to the table. This was a great movie. I think it was great, and a lot of variety here, and I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Happy to bring a little something different to the wheel, and I appreciate you guys having me on to discuss it a little bit. Big James Gunn fan, and happy to throw some love on it.
Well, Ryan, yeah, dude, thank you so much. We'll definitely get you on again in the future if you ever see if there's ever another superhero horror movie, you're definitely coming on, obviously. But if you ever see one, you're like, oh, I like this one, jump back on, Ryan.
For sure.
Last thought too, fluorescent light bulbs. I used to play with them and smash them and stuff. I'm never touching one again. So that freaked me out with the eye and stuff. The shit I used to do, like, first of all, I probably inhaled some bad stuff, but second of all, the eye thing freaked me out. So done with that. Yeah. I shouldn't be playing with fluorescent lights at this age anyway, but yeah.
Eric, you have a child on the way.
Yeah, no, I can't be playing fluorescent. Well, like, what's that movie? Was a 40-year-old virgin where they're like hitting each other in the leg?
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, that's what I would do.
It's like smashing them on each other.
And I remember my mom had a dumpster, and we had like a ton of fluorescent light bulbs. So I would like throw them as high in the air as I could and let them like smash into the dumpster.
Oh my god!
I'd be like, wait, don't throw anything out yet. Let me get the fluorescent light bulbs first.
Dude, I always get scared when I'm taking like cat food cans and opening them. I feel like a piece of metal is gonna like snap right when I like take that top off. I always feel like that's gonna shoot into my eye every time I do that. Anyways.
Balloons popping still freak me out. Like when balloons pop, and I think that's because when I was a kid, I used to bite them, and I bit one and it freaked me out. Like when balloons are like about to pop, I close my eyes.
Oh my god. It's like the only thing on a balloon package is like, don't let children put in mouth. And it's like, I used to eat them as a kid.
Well, like an inflated balloon, and I would like chew on an inflated balloon, and it popped. And I wonder if I was a little kid, and it like popped me in the eye because I cannot, when I see someone about to pop a balloon, not close my eyes.
Damn, it's like sneezing.
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Shit, man.
Well, we'll end on that. No.
Well, Eric, what do you say you spin the new wheel?
Oh, yes. Let me pull it up. We shall. All right. And spinning. Oh, you're going to be happy. Yep. Freddy versus Jason.
Hell yes. Awesome.
That's a good start. That's a good start to the summer wheel. Let's go.
About time. Well, Eric, so you will not be here for the next 3 to 4 weeks, you don't think?
God, it's game time. God, call an audible. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll see. I know we have Joe Testa then. He's on standby now for whenever Eric goes on baby duty, so we'll likely have him.
I'm on baby watch, yeah.
I know. So we'll have we'll always have an episode out, but whether or not Eric will be here, it's pending what the baby determines.
Hey, I'm on the way to the hospital. Can I call in? It's like, no, Eric. Like, no, you're not doing it. Come on, I love Freddy vs. Jason.
Well, yeah, we'd love to have you, obviously, for it, but if not, Joe and I will handle it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, Ryan, again. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. I had a great time.
Thanks, Ryan. And if everybody has not had a chance yet, we did miss this past Friday, but we did release our episode on Obi-Wan, the 5th episode, and we'll have the new episode out on Wednesday, so you can check that out.
The finale, right?
The finale of Obi-Wan.
Yeah, there you go.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. So we'll see everybody on Wednesday with that, and then we'll see you all on Friday with the unbearable, God, what the hell is it? Unbearable weight of massive talent. We'll see you on Friday with that. Alrighty.
Woo!